Hi everybody, let's talk about the movements of populations. So this entire topic is about migration, and migration is defined as the movement of people from one place to another involving a permanent change in residence for more than a year. This more than a year part is really important because if it's less than a year, then it is short-term movements, such as tourism or seasonal movements and stuff. Migration split between international and internal migration, where you have international migration is crossing international borders, so you're moving from one country to another country, whereas internal migration is only within a country, you're not crossing any borders at all. There's different terms for them as well. There's emigration and immigration. Emigration is the people leaving the country or the process of leaving the country, whereas out-migration is leaving the area. So it's the same process, but it's just different terms for international and internal. And same thing for immigration. Immigration is people entering a country, whereas immigration is people entering a region. So these two terms are important to differentiate. There's something called migration balance or net migration. Basically, it's the difference between your in-migrants and your out-migrants, or your immigrants and your emigrants, and the population that results from that. So when you have net migration loss, that means you're losing population from migration, and that means your out-migration is greater than your immigration, or your emigration is greater than your immigration. And conversely, you net migration gain, so you're gaining population from migration when you have more in-migration than out-migration, or you have more immigration than emigration. These two important terms over there, the area, the places that the migrants come from, it's called the source or the origin, and the area that they are moving towards, they are trying to migrate towards, or they are in, is called the destination. There's something called distance decay in migration. Basically, you have area A and area B. The greater the distance between area A and B, the less knowledge people from area A have about area B. So there's less likely for people to migrate there because they are unaware of the opportunities there. They might be scared. There might be different dialects, different languages, and therefore, the greater the distance, the less migrants there are. Now we move on to processes of migration. There's three types. There's chain migration, relay migration, and step migration. Chain migration is after a few pioneering migrants have led the way, others from the same community will follow. So one person or a group of people, they migrate to an urban settlement. So the people in the village, they have urban contacts. They can get some tips from the migrants. So after a while, they will start to migrate. So you're chaining the whole population from a village, from a settlement towards another area. You have relay migration, which is when at different stages of family life cycle. So let's say you have an old person, they're not going to migrate, right? So you have an adult, he migrates, he gets old, he comes back, and then his son will migrate and take on the responsibility. So at different stages of a family's life cycle, different people will take on the responsibility of migration to improve the family's financial position, usually young adults around 15 to 25. Lastly, your step migration is when migration occurs in distinct stages, and so there's multiple steps towards migration, not just one movement, by which a migrant initially heads for a small town, and then after a period of time, so they've consolidated their money or something, they've learned more about other areas, they then move to a bigger city, and then this process repeats a number of years. So they take steps up the urban hierarchy, so from a village, a hamlet, to a town, to a city, to capital city, a conurbation and stuff. And yeah, it's done over many years. So this sums up the processes and definitions of migration, the movements of people, populations. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.